The topic we're doing today is about looking at opportunities, challenges, and success in a new way. Basically, Skills for Life is all about trying to inspire you to think about things in a different way, get rid of the boxes that you may have thought about, and bridge the gap kind of between hard skills and soft skills. So our social media handle is there if you want to join later on or anything like that. That's also available to you. A little bit about myself. I always felt when I was growing up, when people would speak to me and I didn't know who they were or how it was connected, it didn't really resonate. I always wanted to know a little bit. They just started talking, so I try to do that. So just so you know a little bit about who's speaking to you today. Basically, my name is Chris Thompson. I'm 30 years old right now. I reside in actually Brampton, Peel region right now, but I've lived all across the GTA. And basically a little about myself going in here is that when I was in school, I wasn't really determined or directed in any path. I was kind of just, all I really cared about was sports, really. I'm not gonna lie, even girls, sometimes just sports and girls, and I just kind of was floating around. After a while though, I was able to be fortunate to find some mentors who helped direct me into things like the idea of going to post-secondary. Never thought I would do that. I just played a lot of basketball and I liked events. I liked planning events and talking to people. So then I actually ended up going to U of T. I actually ended up getting very involved there in student engagement and volunteer management and did some student roles there. In the top left picture there, you see me doing some president work for the union. The middle is, top middle is me playing basketball for the team. U of T, I graduated from there. I got into community engagement and youth work, and that's what you see in the bottom left there. But I also did a lot of event planning, all the way till one day I planned a huge event with over 5,000 people, and I got to co-host it with Snoop Dogg in Mississauga, actually. So that's just a little bit about me. So the first thing I have is a video I want you all to watch. And what I'm looking for to see what makes you come to mind, and I'll get you to write it in the chat. And it tells you a little bit about what falling forward is. So we'll get right started.
You will fail at some point in your life, except
Andrea, just let me know
you
if you
will
can hear it.
lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. I was a 1.8 GPA one semester, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. But I continued to fail and fail and fail. But it didn't matter because you know what? There's an old saying. You hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break. And I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, remember this, fall forward.
Basically, what he's talking about is the concept of falling forward where I got it from. And the basic emphasis of it is that you're always learning. So even when you're making mistakes, even when you're not looking like you're achieving something, what you're actually doing is developing skills or life skills that will help you in the future. As long as you, though, evaluate it and look at what you've learned from it. As another example I usually give is like a boxer. A boxer really works off of instincts. A boxer probably gets hit the most. Most boxers, when they start, they get hit all the time. They get punched all the time. But what happens is after a while, when they're getting hit and they see how their opponent strikes, when and how and when they like to do it, they start to learn when to dodge it. But that only comes from the concept of falling. And in this concept, it would be getting punched. They get punched a couple of times. They don't like getting punched. They're using their instincts now to learn from it. And now they start to adapt and move for it. So what the speaker here is saying is that when you're going through life, you tend to learn a lot. You're going to mess up all the time. You're going to suck. There's going to be stuff you're not good at. But a way to look at it is the opportunity that you can learn from it. And so quickly, what I wanted to show you was some examples of try, fail, and success, and how it really works in a lot of sense in the world outside of school and when you get into the real world, is it's a lot of trying and failing, and then you get to success. You'll notice that try and fail. If you didn't know this, most of the richest people in the world that have big businesses like Amazon, he had about, I don't know, I think it was more than 10 or so businesses before Amazon became a success. But learning of what goes into making a business successful went with a lot of trial and error and failure, and that led to it. The same thing goes with how you see the problem and a problem and solution over here, an opportunity on the top right, is sometimes if you're hit with a problem, but sometimes you can see it as an opportunity. And the bottom of that picture is really what happens. It could go from school to grades to courses to even your career choices where you think it's going to be one and it goes in a wonky line to the finish line. So it's very rarely ever a straight line. And the reason why I have Snoop Dogg here is because the story I wanted to share, I'm not going to go the whole story because we don't have time, but what happened is I pitched the idea of having a celebrity basketball game to the city of Mississauga in front of all the mayors and the councillors in Mississauga, so consider it Toronto. And when I did that, and I pitched the idea of having a celebrity game, was during All-Star Weekend a couple of years back, they told me it would never happen. They told me it's impossible. They said, who's going to come here? How are you going to do that? But all I knew was that it was All-Star Weekend. I did my research. I knew that a lot of celebrities were coming to Toronto. I also knew that in the States, it is a common thing for them to hold celebrity games. A lot of athletes just do it in inner cities and stuff. It's not a big ask. So I went out and made the ask. I'm not going to go to the whole story, but the point of it now is that at the end of it, I had Snoop Dogg and almost 10 to 20 other celebrities there present. We had a celebrity game. Even Allen Iverson was there, if anybody knows who he is, and he showed up. And almost every counselor who told me that it would not happen attended the event and wanted Mitch Houston to come. So it always goes to show you, if you put in the work, if you are actually trying and you're getting out there, you never know what you can accomplish. So next up, really quickly, specific, SMART. So SMART goals. And the reason why we see goals, everybody has goals and you can think about them and you get you somewhere, they don't, until you actually make it something tangible and structured. So basically what I have here is an acronym that Skills for Life teaches youth. An idea specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And the reason I have a picture there is because I'm going to use that as my example for you. So I grew up playing basketball. That's all I did. Basketball, I loved it. I was playing a lot. I'm not going to go into some stories because I'll get in trouble, but I did playing a lot of basketball. The point, what I had to do though, is I had an early growth spurt. So I was a forward, believe it or not, when I started playing basketball, grade 8, grade 7. And then when I got to high school, I had an early growth spurt, so I was tall, and then everybody shot up after me. So all of a sudden I went from being the person who could just catch the ball and pass it and rebound to I needed to learn to dribble. So what my specific goal, not just to get better at basketball, my specific goal was to dribble and to learn to shoot, actually, was another one because I was a point guard, to learn to shoot. So basically what I wanted to do was have a specific thing, which was getting better at shooting. And to make it measurable, so I actually wrote out how it would be measurable, is I wanted to measure how many shots I could get in a row out of 10. So when I started, it might have been 2. Then after a while I recorded, I could get 5. Then after a while I could get 7. And I could measure it all the way until I could get 10 out of 10 shots. Attainable. Attainable is in there because sometimes we put goals out, but we don't really ask ourselves, how are we going to attain this? How are we going to get it done? And so it's like, what are you doing to practice? What are you doing to make it happen? My attainable was if I could practice. So I could say, I want to practice an hour each day, and each day I can put an hour toward my goal. So how are you going to attain it? You write those things down as well. And then realistic. Was it realistic? My goal, sometimes we don't know if we're making realistic goals. So I wrote down I want to make 10 shots in a row. It might have been not as realistic if I wrote I want to make 200 shots in a row. I don't think even Stephen Curry has done it yet. I think he's at 87 in a row without missing one or something like that. I think that's 3-pointers, I mean. But that's it. But you want to make it realistic as well. And then timely or time bound. The idea is that you want a goal that has a time bound, because if you don't put an end time to a goal, you forget about it. It goes on forever. And so what I was able to do by actually breaking my goal down from just saying I want to be a better basketball player, by breaking it down, this is what we teach some athletes I work with, is a specific goal. Is it dribbling with your left hand? Break it down. How do you want to get it done? Is it being able to shoot 3-pointers? Break it down. How do you want to get it done? So we really break it down into small pieces, and you actually write it out. I used to have books I would give all the youth, but we can't in COVID. But you write out specific, and then it's all on our website too if you want to try that. So opportunities. So this is, again, we talk about what's called the growth mindset. The ability to learn is not fixed. And that's what we do. So when I work with youth, it's not a lot about the quantitative and so forth. We have school and you get grades for that. What we look at is the qualitative. The idea that you are learning to use your brain or think in a new way of breaking down boxes that may be apparent to you. So on the left, you have this idea of what do you see when you see the cup? And maybe you can put it in the comments and Andrea can tell me what you're seeing. Do you see the cup half full? And you're going to see the cup half empty. And I'm going to tell you what that means while people are going. And then you see on the right side, you see possibilities. This chart, this sign on the right can be very confusing, but in life, you're going to see that you have a lot of possibilities of what you could do from right now in your school to be just your mindset that you're going to try hard or you're not going to try hard. And that means it's going to change another area, the friends you're going to have, the friends you're not going to associate, the time you want to spend on social media, the time you want to do work, all those things actually lead to different possibilities. So Andrea, are a lot of people writing about half full or half empty what they see, or nobody?
A lot of them are saying half full, and then some are saying it depends if it was poured out or it was filled out. So yeah.
And that's fine, but the idea is it's all up here. It's what you is really, it's kind of like I didn't get the time to do it, but it's about the box idea. People have these preception ideas of what, you're already thinking, well, was it poured, was it not poured, whatever. The idea is you just strip all that away and just look at what you see. The mindset is what's more important than what is here. It's not really the cup half full, half empty. It's your mindset. Are you thinking more positively when you see this image, or does your brain take you into more of a negative or more of a skeptic mindset? All those things actually play into reality in a lot of senses of what what happens. If you have a positive or a half full, you're probably more eager to get over a challenge, get over the hump and find a way. If you have a mindset where you're more skeptic, what's really going on here? I don't know. You probably have a mindset that you need you might not always take on an opportunity right away if it doesn't look perfect. And the idea is that, like in the real world, most opportunities don't come with a bow. It's not a present. You have to look for it. You have to be ready to go over some challenges to make it to the opportunity ahead. So that's something to think about. How do you see things? Do you naturally gravitate to be skeptic or concerned and worried, which is not a bad thing. You need a little bit of that. But does your mind allow you to overcome that by thinking about what are the opportunities that I see past this challenge? So one of the things I'm going to talk to you about quickly as we go here is networking makes networks. So in the real world and opportunity, I know COVID has changed up a little things, but what hasn't changed is your ability still to network. Whether you're doing it on TikTok, social media, LinkedIn, or whatever it is, the idea in the life is you learn a lot from networking. And I'm not telling you to go out there and meet a whole bunch of people off social media and talk to them. I'm also saying that the ways that you can network is through social media, that which you're using a lot, and there's ways to do it very safely. And you have everything at your fingertips. Here, one example I'll use is you see Walmart at the bottom now. In this day and age, on a platform like Instagram or even Twitter and stuff, you have companies sometimes telling you exactly what they do or don't do from a public-facing view. You can actually get in the insight of a company you may want to work for later on. And by the time you're old enough to work with them, you can already know what they buy, what they sell, who they work with, and what they do. And you know how that translates into information? If you were ever to go into a job interview or go talk to somebody from the company and you cordially engage them because you know what's happening in their company, I guarantee you in an interview or something, that is going to get their attention, that you know what's going on in their company. So the idea of just having access to these companies where you're saying stuff, you laugh or giggle, but there's other ways you can actually do a lot of research on companies and things you may want to do in the future. You may have a lot of access to influential people. A lot of people use social media just to follow funny things, social things. But what if you followed? I follow Denzel Washington. I follow like Will Smith. Those type of people are able to inspire you, help you get out of downtime, and a little bit of a way to make you think about the world in a different way. So even though you're doing a lot of social and for fun, how much positive things that are just meant to uplift you do you follow on your social medias or look at? How much things do you follow that challenge you to think a new way or learn about a new culture or learn about new people, things that you didn't know about? That is actually a way that leads you to success in a new way. Your phone, you might just see it as a tool to talk to your friends, but if you think outside of the box in a new way, you can learn so many different things from what's right in your hand a little bit. Obviously, get some break, talk to people, get away. But it's a great way to learn. And what I have here is types of networking. And this is big. I would go into it more if I had more time, but what I kind of break it down to is there's formal and informal networking. Number one, everybody usually is shocked when it comes about networking, the formal word of how do I do it, when I do it. And I work with a lot of youth that are in university. And I can tell you the moment that they think about networking is when they're finishing school, because you don't care right now, you're all in high school, but I guarantee you the moment you're finishing college or university, you already think about getting a job. I need to pay for my phone. I need to pay for this. I need to do that. And all of a sudden you start thinking about networking and meeting people. The truth about networking and meeting people is that it's a longer process. Think about your friends. You meet somebody, they're acquaintance, you don't know them, it takes a while, you feel them out, a year, months later, whatever, it becomes your best friend and you want to invite them out or whatever. And networking works the same way. If you wait until you need a job or you need to get a career to start meeting or learning about people, it often doesn't segue into anything tangible right away. It takes a long time. But if you're in high school and doing volunteer hours with a company, or if you're in college and doing volunteer hours or reaching out to groups, that is when you're going to actually be able to make a rapport, because what happens is those people see your work ethic, they see who you are, and now you're in their mind. And now you may follow up on LinkedIn or social media and say, hey, remember me? And now they see you. What happens is, like, people like me who work in other companies or places, all of a sudden we get job requests or opportunities requests, or even sometimes I even get free tickets and stuff, and I can give it to people. But now I remember in my head, hey, Andrea or Nathaniel, who has been volunteering or helping with me for a long time, I remember them. And now that person may go back and pull you up and pull you into an opportunity, pull you into something. I got invited to court seats, tickets to a basketball game when we were doing that, just because I was volunteering, and they remembered, and they're like, oh, this kid does a lot of great stuff. Here's an opportunity. So the opportunities often come when you're not looking for it. When you're trying to get it, like you need to find opportunity, they're there, but it's much harder because you're trying to get it so quick. But when you're just meeting people for the sake of meeting people and having great conversation, that's where it becomes more impactful, and that's what people tend to remember. So just try to remember that. So here's one more video quick, because I gotta go fast. So here's another video for you.
Endowing them with a gift. You just gotta quit looking at gifts as run and jump and sing and dance. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, when you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord.
Okay, so quickly, I'm not going to be able to stop very fast, but if everybody could write in the chat if they know who that was, I'd love to see if you know who that was. Very another icon. But very quickly, what I want to talk to you about is identifying. Somebody said Steve Harvey. I think somebody else. That's correct. It is Steve Harvey. Very funny dude. You should check him out, and he's very inspirational as well. Basically, you have to identify your gift, and risk is a part of the game. So right now from high school, you may be liking some classes or not liking some, writing, art, business, I don't know what you're taking. And a lot of it may be telling you a little bit of what your interest is or what you're not interested to, but both parts of it have a part to do with possibilities and opportunities. Actually, most people learn more from what they don't like and what they don't do well than from simply going straight line of what you like. Because when you start, when you have a lot of things, when you start being able to pick away stuff that are not working out, it starts to make it more clear of what you might want to go into. And the earlier you start thinking about that is better. So I know people who went through all post-secondary, all to find out all the stuff they studied they didn't like. So from right now, what if you started researching on your phone? What if you started talking to people and asking them about how their career path went and what they did in it? All those things help you to go forward. I'm not going to play that video because we don't have as much time for it. But all I wanted to say is networking in new ways is keys, and it leads you to success and opportunity. The reason why I have this picture up is because what you have is you see people running and they're in suits. It doesn't really match. It doesn't really look like, okay, they should be in athletic wear. They should be not in suits if they're running. Other things that people say that tends to come to mind, are they fighting against each other? Are they working together? And so all this to say is that you actually are creating the perspective of what this picture is. It's just a picture. Some people are going to see that these people are running to success. Some people see that they're happy in their team. Some people are going to see them challenging each other. Some people are going to see it's a problem that they're in suits and running, and some people don't care. The point is around the picture is that your mind kind of will dictate what you see, and it will lead to the opportunities that you bring it. Because if you're open to it, it will come. The last thing I want to leave you with is the last video quickly here about what makes you happy. And hopefully the idea is you've been hopefully writing little things down or thinking about it. And what I want you to do is what comes to your mind when you see this video, try writing them down. For me, it was thinking about how I wanted to help people in a charity. And I wrote down a couple lines of what I thought it would be. And to be honest with you, it's Skills for Life now. I have 7 staff, it's 7 regions. And I just started writing them down on paper. Goal setting was a bullet. I want to help kids is a bullet. And years later, it's a company that is a revenue generator and I'm able to help others. So here it is. Oops.
I don't know if you felt this, but you've probably gotten a glimpse of this. That feeling of pride that you get when you set a vision for yourself, something big, something noble, and then you actually go out there and achieve it, and you work really hard, you struggle through the challenges, you build yourself up, you learn new skills, you develop yourself, you challenge yourself emotionally in every possible way, physically, but then you finally achieve it. You realize that vision, and then you see the smile that that effect puts on other people. So whether it was a business that you were starting or some charity work that you were doing, seeing the smile of you putting your best into it on other people's faces, that is the best feeling in the world.
You should be feeling invincible right now. Because you know who you are, because you're a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. Like right now, you should feel invincible, powerful, strong. Look, you should be feeling like there's absolutely nothing you can't accomplish. Nothing, I don't care, tests, I don't care what it is. Whatever you're going through in your life, you should feel like you could beat it. I need you to know that in order for you to get to that next level, you got to change your thinking. Like for real, you don't need no money, you don't need no stuff. The one thing you need to do to go where you've never gone before, to have what you've never had before, is to change the way you think. If you were amazing, if your life was amazing, what would amazing look like to you?
So I don't need to know, you don't need to write in the chat, but I know when people see videos, it makes them think of things. And I hope that you write down anything that made you feel or think about, good or bad. Keep it to yourself, review it. And you never know. Some of you might actually have your future careers or your aspirations or your successes in that paper if you want to work toward it. That's what happened for me. Little things I wrote down end up being my success story. And you have to decide if you're a winner or loser. It's all about your mindset, and you're your biggest challenge. If you want something, you can go for it. And if you put in the work and try, don't let anybody else stop you or tell you that you can't. Thank you. I just want to say thank you again to everybody for joining the workshop. I know it was a quick one, but I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you for having me. And yeah, do check us out. A lot of programs. We find one-on-one mentors for you. We do a lot of panel sessions, workshops that you can sign up for, and we give prizes. Like Amazon gift cards, systems sometimes. So there's a lot of stuff there.